Hello and welcome to Magical Travel Adventure. I am Lauren, your host, and I am here today with fellow agent Haley. Hi, Haley.
Hi, how are you?
Great. I'm so
Awesome.
excited that you're here so that we could talk all about your special trip to Disney World, not flying, not driving, but taking the train.
Yes, ma'am. It was a ton of fun. I loved it.
Yes. So, just a reminder that Haley and I are both travel agents with Carry on the Magic. Both of our information is below if you need help booking your next Disney World vacation or Disneyland or Disney cruise. We do a lot of stuff, not just Disney.
Mhm.
And we even do trains. um, so, I'll let Haley, let's talk a little bit about you. Tell us a little information about you, and then we'll get into your trip.
Okay. As Lauren said, I am Haley. I am a travel agent with Carry on the Magic. I specialize primarily in adult vacations, so bachelorette trips to the theme parks, European adventures, and now trains.
Yes. My husband and I watch this guy, Jeb Brooks, who's
Mhm.
like super popular on YouTube. And during the pandemic, they used to do all these plane stuff and then they started doing trains and we got really into his train stuff. So, yes, we're really into trains at our house.
My dad is a huge train fan. There are times when I'll come home and there's just a YouTube video of a train going through the Alps or something. I love it.
Yes. It's so much fun.
It is.
Okay, so let's get into your trip. We have some pictures to go along, of course. If you've never been here before, you know I love a good slideshow. So, um, all right, so I'm gonna go with this is the train station.
It was. That's the train station. It's Raleigh Union Station because I live in Raleigh, North Carolina. And so they have a new train station. It was beautiful. The clerks at the station were incredibly helpful and incredibly nice about, told them it was my first time traveling by train and was like, please help me. I have no idea what to do, where to go, what I need to do with my bags. And they're like, here, we'll help you. They took me on a cart, like a little golf cart, down to my room when the train finally got there. And it was a nice place to wait because the train was about an hour late getting in and then leaving. But that's kind of one of the differences between train travel and airline travel is the Amtrak trains share their lines, their passenger lines, with the commercial rails in the US. So because of that, commercial trains, like shipping trains, get the priority. And if they're delayed, then passenger trains get delayed along the way. But good news is, if you get a roomette, by the time you get on, you're just going to go to sleep anyway. So you can just sleep on the way down.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about that too. So, compared to going to an airport, how early did you get to the train station?
I got there 30 minutes before when my train was supposed to arrive.
Okay.
So 30 minutes instead of 2 hours.
Did you get any notification that your train was going to be late before that?
I got a notification as I was pulling into the station that it was going to be late. And then they would send updates through the app and my email as they noticed that it was going to be a little bit later.
Okay. Okay, so that's good to know.
Yeah.
Um, so you talked about your bags. Did you
Mhm.
have like a suitcase that would need to be checked on a commercial flight, like a airline?
Yes. So I had I probably wouldn't have checked it normally. It's one of the bags that I normally do carry on with, but I also had another bag that would have been another carry on and a backpack and a purse. And I would not have been able to take all of those on a flight. I would have had to have paid to check at least one bag. And the great thing was that when I was coming back, when I had all of my little merchandise trinket bags, I didn't have to try to shove them into a bag and pray that they were going to fit and make it home in one piece. I just carried them on and stuck them in the seat next to me.
And no one cared that you had how many
Nope.
bags you had. So, okay.
Nope, not at all. And I could have, so that's included in your fare. You can bring a regular size bag, a carry-on, a personal item, like I think 4 bags. And you can also check up to 2 bags. So you could bring your entire closet if you really wanted to. I would not recommend bringing your entire closet unless you're taking the train for like a month-long vacation somewhere, but you could do it.
Right. Okay. Well, that's really good information if you're going to take the train.
Mm-hmm.
I guess maybe we should get into why did you decide to take the train instead of flying?
So it was pretty price comparable with a round trip flight from North Carolina down to Orlando. It was, I think, about $100 more overall, but that essentially would have been what I would have paid to check bag if I were flying.
Yep.
And I really just wanted to see what it was like. I wanted to, I've again, my dad instilled a love of trains in me, much like he did with Disney. I had, when I studied in London, goodness, a decade ago, I had taken trains over in England or in the UK. So I knew what that was like. I wanted to compare over here, and I wanted to see what it was like in case any of my clients went, hey, I'd like to take a train. Can you tell me about it? And this way I've got firsthand knowledge. Plus, I really wanted to sleep on a train. I just thought that would be fun. And this was partially when COVID was starting to ramp back up a little bit. I was like, okay, I can be in an enclosed room by myself, no one else there, and then I get to Disney amongst all the crowd, but at least I make it to Disney safe and healthy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, that is some good information, and we'll get over the different options that you have for like seats in a minute, but this is a train.
That was my train that I took. And I want to say that that's the picture from Orlando.
Okay. So this is considered, I believe, a Viewliner train. It's one level, so there's not 2 floors to it.
No.
And if we're looking on the outside, if this happened to be your room, this is the window that you're normally looking out. And then
Correct.
this would be if you're on the top bunk, right?
Yep, that's exactly right.
Okay. Yes, I'm that cool. I know all this stuff from watching videos.
I love it.
Okay. So let's talk about, you had a roomette.
I did, yes. So there are a few different types of rooms that you can have. There's the roomette, which is the smaller version that I had. It's got 2 chairs. Excuse me, a hiccup. It had 2 chairs, and you can see up at the top where that kind of track is. That's a pull-down bed. Yep, that. Which you can pull down yourself, or one of the attendants can pull it down for you. There's just a nice little handy handle that you can pull down or push up. And it also has a sink on the opposite side of the room from where you see my my lovely hanging jacket and suitcase, which was strapped in. So I didn't have to worry about it coming flying at me at any random points of the night.
There you go.
And the other category that they have is it's a larger version. It's got a bench, I believe, and it has an in-room bathroom and shower, which is probably my next go. That'll be what I do next time around, because while this was nice, I did have to leave the room to go to the bathroom, and if I wanted to shower, which they had a shower on board, so I could have used it, but rather just do it at the hotel at that point.
Yeah, because we didn't even talk about this. How long was your journey gonna be from North Carolina to Florida?
It was about comparable with a drive. So it
Okay.
was, I think, 10 hours. We left Raleigh at 9:30 and got there at 11. But it does also make stops along the way
Mhm.
at night. Sorry, 9:30 at night, 11 the next morning.
Yes.
Makes sense with that. But it does make stops throughout the trip to pick up other people, drop off.
And so like, every so often, there's a longer break. A lot of
Mhm.
them are, like, quick stops, like, it's
Yeah,
5 minutes or less.
yeah,
And then there's I would say maybe every 4, 6 hours, it's like a 30-minute, 20-minute
yeah, something like that. Give people a
stop.
chance to get off
Stretch
if
their
they're,
legs.
yeah,
Yeah.
or if they're smokers, go out and smoke without being inside because that's not allowed.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so I wanna stick here for a minute.
Mhm.
So, like, right behind this curtain, that's where the door is.
Yes, that
So
is the door.
it's very I don't wanna say it's tight, but it's not long or wide. It's long, but
Correct.
it's not wide.
Yeah. I mean, and that is a wide angle, and I'm not 10 feet tall. Uh, but yeah, it can be a little cramped. I would maybe do it with a close friend or family member, but I don't know that my 6'4" father and I would both fit in there comfortably.
No, and all
Um,
no matter what, all roomettes or rooms are 2 people max.
yeah.
They do So on a non-East Coast train, they do have these family rooms where you can have more if you have family members, but those are mostly going out west.
Yeah.
Trust me, I've researched it. And we should also say this is a picture of a new, like almost a brand new car.
It is. Yeah. On the way there, I got very lucky. I got a very new car. On the way back, it was older. So this one had, USB plugs, digital thermostat, stuff like that. Uh, Whereas the older one, it was a knob or plug in for your,
Let's see if I
yeah.
Yeah, so these are some of the pictures. So I will just say, this is obviously an older
Mhm.
version of the roomette. Nothing fancy. This is a picture of an actual room. So,
Mhm.
like you said, that bench, and then there's like another chair here. I feel like there's wider space too here, but that could
Yes.
just be imagination. There's that sink you were talking about, and then I can't get it in the picture, but that it's like a toilet shower combo option.
Yes. Yeah, it's kind of like right over here, I believe.
Yeah.
Uh, and I'm pointing at the pictures if you
I
guys
know,
can
it's
see
okay.
it.
I saw what she was doing, but it's okay. It's in this little space,
Yeah.
okay?
And, so in the roomettes, the sink is not just kind of out there, it's folded up, and you fold it down, and you brush your teeth, wash your hands, whatever, and then it folds back up and drains out the back, which is kind of fun.
Now, did
Uh,
you have a toilet in the roomette?
not in the new one.
But in the old one you
In
did.
the old one, there was a toilet in there, which was
Yes.
interesting, and it
It's just
sounds,
like I don't know how to explain it. I don't think I can show you guys in this picture. It's like it's not here, but it would be like this would just be like a seat, and it would just, like,
yeah.
lift up.
Mhm.
So, there's no privacy, let's just say.
Which would be why if you're doing one of the, older ones, you probably want to be in that room alone,
Mhm.
unless
Yeah.
you were very comfortable with your
Or you're
companion.
just not gonna use that toilet. That's fine
Yes,
too.
that
Like
too.
like, they do have we're talking about this, like, they have, like, separate toilets, like,
Yes.
public toilets that you can use, so it's not
Yeah.
like your only option is the one in the room, and I will say that there are these 2 types of seats, but on the train also, they do have, like, a, coach class just that
Mhm.
are just seats,
Yeah,
like 2 by 2 seats, and then,
kind
business
of business
class,
class, yeah.
yeah, which are just a little larger seats.
Yeah. And those seats would fold down into a bed too. So that's
Right.
if you're wondering how you get 2 people into that room, those bottom seats would fold down into a bed, and then you get the top person on the top bunk, which was kind of
Right.
a little parkour to get up there.
Yeah. Yeah, so these seats down here,
Mhm.
they could make it into a bed, and then this one just pulls down. But I'm assuming you just obviously
I just
slept up
slept on
there.
top. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. And they were kind of surprised about that. They were like, "Oh, you want us to pull it down?" I'm like, "Well, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I want the full experience. Thank you."
So when you got on,
Mhm.
was there gonna be a meal served for then or no?
Yes. So they came
Okay.
by. Uh, when I got on, they knew that there was going to be one person in a roomette in that car. So they took me to my room, explained it. They asked if I had ridden a train before, explained how it worked, and then said, "Here's your menu. Here's what's included. I'm going to go help the other people. Look it over. Let me know what you want when we get back." And on the train on the way down, uh, because it was night, I got the penne and meatballs and my salad. You can see some wine in the back there. That was all included. And I want to say they had cookies or brownies. I can't
It
remember
looks
what.
like something in there, yeah. I
Yeah,
can't say.
I just can't remember which, but there was a dessert. So don't worry, your sweet tooth will be satisfied.
So
Uh,
could you have eaten in the dining car?
I could have. So
Okay.
I don't know about at night because they didn't even give me the option. They just said, "Let us know what you want. We'll bring it to you." And they brought it in like that handy little box that's back there.
Mhm.
Um, and actually, now that I think about it, they did that in the morning on the way down as well uh, for my pancakes. So I'm sure I could have gone down, but I think they were just kind of rolling through it at that
Mhm.
point. On the way back home, they came, took my order, and said, in about 30 minutes, go down to the dining car, talk to the woman who's back there in the kitchen, let her know that you're the one that had X, Y, and Z. And she gives you the box with all the food in it, and there are tables. You can sit there, you can eat, or you can go back to your room, which is what I chose to do because I just felt like going back to my room and watching TikToks, not having to talk to people at that point.
But that's good knowing that even if you got on that late, that you could
Mhm.
still get food.
Yeah,
So pretty much you got on the train, they came around talking about food, brought you
yeah,
food, and then you went to bed.
pretty much. I think I stayed up maybe until midnight just because I wanted to get the full experience.
Okay.
And then I was like, yeah, no, it's time for bed.
Alright, so let me go back again. So you slept on the top bed
I
here.
did, yeah.
Obviously, there's some sort of
There is a strap contraption to make sure that you don't roll out in the middle of the night.
yes. Now
Thankfully.
did you find that it was very bumpy?
I didn't. And we were talking about motion sickness before this because you get it, and I can get a little car sick sometimes. And there were parts of it where I felt like I was getting a little bit nauseous, but honestly, the second that I was up on the bed and going to sleep, it was kind of like when you're on a cruise and it's just like rocking you to sleep. I'm like, oh, this is nice. Okay. And I think I may have slept better, if not well, comparable to the Swan and Dolphin beds that we slept in for the rest of the trip.
Okay, I have 2 questions. How
Mhm.
are the pillows, and did you get blankets?
The pillows were great, and
Okay.
yes, blankets. It was kind of like the blankets that they give you on an airline.
Mhm.
It was kind of like that, but so you can't tell there, but there is like an actual sheet as well. So you
Mhm.
got the blanket and the sheet.
Okay.
And there were two pillows. One they put one up top, or one was already waiting for me up top, and I just grabbed the other pillow and put it up there because I like more pillows. But you could
That's
also
nice.
obviously bring a pillow with you if you
Right.
want to.
Um, and, how like, the airflow in the room, did you feel like it was good? You got hot? It was too cold?
Well, one of the good things, like I mentioned before, was you have a thermostat, so you can change the temperature to your comfort level, which was great because I'm sure everyone else was like, oh my God, I'm boiling. And I was like, nice and 75 degrees in here. I am comfortable. But on the way back, you could close the vents. I definitely liked the newer train for that because if I turned the temperature down, the air wasn't like shooting me in the face. On the older one, you pretty much had to close the vents the entire way to make sure they weren't shooting you in the face, which was a little annoying, but
Okay, I got a question about how are the meatballs? Was the
delicious.
food good? Okay,
It
so
was honestly very good. I was shocked.
okay.
I was full on expecting like mediocre theme park food
Mhm.
or like airline food. It was very tasty. And I'm not sure if that's just because I was very hungry, but it was very
Okay. And you were traveling alone.
good. Hmm.
Did you feel safe? Like, did the doors lock? Did it seem
I felt perfectly safe. Doors locked. There were, I think, 2 locks on it.
Mhm.
And you can see in there that I could close the blinds completely, or the curtains, not blinds, uh,
Same
completely.
thing.
So I like no one could see me. I
Right.
mean, they knew that the room was occupied, I assume, because the curtains were closed. But
That's it.
yeah,
Wonderful. Okay. So you slept. It was a good night of sleep.
very
And
good night's sleep.
then
Delicious breakfast.
do you just kinda, like, wake up whenever, or does it seem like they kinda wake you up, or
Um, so they said they were going to come by and wake me up. They did not.
okay.
And I don't know if that's just because I was awake before they would have and
Okay.
they realized it, or I don't know. But I mean, he came around at 8:30,
Okay.
knocked on the door and was like, "Hey, you awake? Okay, good. What do you want for breakfast? Here are your options." I was like, "Please give me coffee. All the coffee. Start my day off. Thank you."
Nice.
Yeah,
And you said that this was also really good?
it was very tasty. And I'm picky about my pancakes, and it's good.
It was
It's
good.
very good. Yeah.
Good.
I mean, not like
I know, five-star stuff, but
yeah.
I know, but, like, it was edible and it was good, like, you could eat it,
Yeah.
so that's good. Alright, so then, obviously, the goal was to get to Orlando,
Yes.
and this was the station.
It was Orlando Station is beautiful. I think I looked it up and it was built in like the 1920s, and so that golden age of train travel, and it was
Yeah.
just absolutely gorgeous on the inside. Did not have Wi-Fi. The Raleigh station had Wi-Fi on the inside. So when I was waiting to go back home, that was a little disappointing because I'd probably used more than my fair share of data at the parks. Uh, but it was a gorgeous station, and it was very easy to get from the station to the hotel.
How did you do that?
I just grabbed an Uber, and they were right around the corner, came up within 5 minutes, maybe 10. And it was, I think, a 35-minute drive there. And it was, I think, probably about $30 to $40. It was
That's not
not,
bad.
mm-mm.
It's actually probably easier than going to the airport where there's a lot more to maneuver and
Yeah,
get an Uber or Lyft from there, so that's good.
yeah. And I think it's a shorter trip. What is it? I can't remember. I haven't.
I think they're all the same, like, no matter where
Yeah,
everything is the airport, everything. I guess it depends on where you're staying and what time.
yeah. But it can be like $90 to take a ride share from the
The
Orlando
airport.
airport. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so you had a ride. Yay! Okay, so from your experience,
Mhm.
would you do it again?
Absolutely.
Is there anything that you would do differently?
Um, if I could, I would do the bigger room
Mhm.
just because I like my space and spreading out. But other than that, I don't think so, because I loved the fact that it was overnight. So the majority of my travel time, I was sleeping.
Mhm.
I was not up and, twiddling my thumbs with the Disney anxiety. Uh, yeah, I really enjoyed it.
And I will say for someone who has driven from Connecticut to Florida
Uh,
many times and back, I think one of the things that we are excited about to try the train
mhm.
is, like, even though we can't control, like, when the train stops or whatnot,
Yeah.
like, when we can get off and do a stop, we don't have to worry, like, we're not all buckled in and, we're not worried, like, we just get on the train, like, it's gonna get there eventually, like,
Mhm.
it's not gonna take, like, 2 days as opposed to 1 day, but, it's definitely gonna be a little it's just not as stressful, like, you can just relax and do whatever.
Exactly. You can wander around the trains or the cars. You can go to the bathroom. You can take a shower.
Right,
Like, you don't have to try to navigate the pit stops if you're driving. Just,
right,
oh, you know, little Joey has to use the bathroom. Okay, here we go. Go right on down
right,
to the bathroom. You don't have to
and,
go
like
hold it for 10 minutes.
right, or be stuck in a traffic jam and being like,
Mhm.
"Who knows?" I think our biggest issue
Having
is
balls.
yeah, my son gets car sick because of the car seat that he has to be in when we're in long car trips, so, that's a factor too, so,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Haley. This was she
absolutely.
wanted someone wants to know if you got to explore the rest of the train or did you just stay in your car?
I stayed in my car. Um, yeah, I stayed in my car other than the one time that I went down to the dining car.
Mhm.
Um, but for the most part, I think it was just kind of one corridor looks the same as the next corridor.
Right, it's just you're either walking in coach and business class
Yeah,
cars. There might be, depending on how long your train is, there might be, like, a place where anyone can get
like a
grab and go
lounge.
food for,
Yeah.
like, stuff like that. There's bathrooms with
Mhm.
the bathrooms, and they're asking how crowded was the train? Did you feel like it was very crowded? Were there a lot of people where you
Didn't.
were?
No. I think most everyone pretty much stayed in their rooms. Uh, the only time that it got a little bit tight was, if I was trying to go down to the dining car and someone else was trying to go back, you had to maneuver those tight corners. But no, it didn't seem like it was. It did seem like it wasn't busy, but it didn't seem crowded at the same time, if that makes sense. Like
Mhm.
going past the rooms, I could tell that people were in the rooms,
Right.
but it,
I think it
you
would feel
weren't
more
talking about
crowded if you were, like, in business class if you didn't have your own
probably.
room, like,
Yeah,
you're in your room,
yeah, that's
and then and the amount of rooms there are the amount of seats to eat
yeah.
also, so, like, it's not like that. If you're in the coach or business class, that could seem more crowded if there's just more people on the train, and
Mhm.
actually, when you book, it will tell you, like, the percentage booked on the train.
Yeah,
But I do know that the East Coast, New York to Florida is the most popular and the busiest train route in the United States for passengers.
that does not surprise me.
No. If you've ever had to drive on 95,
Yeah,
that's it. You
well,
don't wanna do that.
you don't wanna have to drive through South Carolina.
No.
Oh,
And
North
see, we
Carolina's
don't
so
wanna drive through Virginia, so
oh, god, no. I'm not going to say anything about their drivers in case anyone's watching that's from Virginia.
Oh, it's not their drivers, it's their traffic.
DC? Oh, you
Traffic
in
is
DC?
DC to Richmond is, like,
Ooh,
the worst traffic I think I've ever experienced in my life.
well, I'm glad I live a state south of that. But I
Yeah.
don't enjoy the, like, what feels like 10 hours to get through South Carolina because 'cause you're like, "Alright, am I still here?"
I'm sorry, that's how I feel like when I go through your state.
Fair enough, fair enough.
It's like 4 hours later, "Yep, we're still in North Carolina.
I get to
Someday."
start in the middle of the state. It's
Yeah, you have a little advantage there.
yeah.
So, all right. Well, thank you so much, Hayley, for coming on. Again, there's more information below in our show notes. So if you want to reach out, have any more questions, need help booking, both of us can help you. And I'm sure Hayley will be on again. She's been on a few times, so you can go and check that out too. And thank you. And we will talk to you next time.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.